ba ene ye fira be kase ye de be somwo this efiri abrosa ho adinani akyeremu e wo Facebook obetimi anya bi ahye Fache TV on Facebook sanso na YouTube enso eye Fache TV ewo hono ahye sanso na www.facheonline.com ubenya ensem ne bi enso akenkan ewo hono kase no nsem hodo a yensentro 40 won hogu monten so wode begu semfo pono so eno bi na yede besom wo se anwumre no nsia brem kase na kase no de edi mu akotene ebini Ghana Mampanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wadi nkomo bi awo Philadelphia na ensema wadi tuja ene se wo man Ghana wo hye bose obabua ama enwuma ya famabunu no bia ye afa ne kwan so pepepe sansuru ena wo hye se odo pi begu akwam na aboa Chief Justice Professor Bafo Boni wadi nsem bi atuja no kire se prayer for entity ya biem se suapon bia betumi aye bie no wobehye se won toto na ase na wobekosua edi juma so edi aboa saso ena kasua traders ejadifo no wonum ensen kan nyina ene se wonum se wobesi 24-hour market eno nti wo pamo wo mafiri biaye a wodija no na woni enje ho and some way any yatimre na yede baby na yede asomwo enumre no nsiabrem kase TV eso yene yede besomwo eyeme Obrempong akwesi yaboa mene
AFIA tumwa ketre yeba sesi ana kase ni nchemu no sade etie no yede ama Ebusia yema mokwa ba fe yensha kase no ase omampani John Dramani Mahama wakopie Philadelphia ne Ghana dihye binma won motete ho ahia na watwetwe nkomo bebre mampani akasa ade afa nansen security recruitment course wo ho afei kwan pa won betimi afa so apagya kwadwuma mu na Ghana dihye so won makotena nkrofo aman so ebetimi abeboa amo mensi kasem afa ntoma pa efra
Mampani Mahama yakasa wenkuta hodi adwumadi no asem ene wo kire se na san de ma won mofa abefo kwan so eye security recruitment efa nipa adwuma wo bambo gine tokonum ne se fa ye ne pepepe ye beda ne ho adie na obi anya kwan fa ne nsa enkeka ne mamfa nipa ensem fata enwura mu nanso ene wachi no wate nkomodie bebre ya Ghana fo kire se won moboa pa no oyoye se de beya eniema bekoye ama nipa binom nanso ogitum a enyeyi okira Ghana fo no a ena won mo abosu dwetremfie bebre ni se breso se wo fa nipa e wo security mu a ya asane emamu enna ho eno na ma won mo fa sa kwan no so se de beya wode beyi sa wo haw no afiri ho wode anobansem amoman se ebre kwa animu no obehwe se wo beyire won tam yi se de beya akwanya foforo pa biemu a eniema mu beda ho fan na woni esefata no wanya security emu adwuma.
The intent behind that is in good faith, because there have been a lot of complaints that people get recruited on the basis of who they know. And so this was an attempt to use digitalization to be able to sort through the first wave of the applications. And so when you go online and you apply and you you fill all the fields with your qualification and everything, the computer doesn't know who you are. And so once you apply, the computer has the algorithms that says that this is what we're looking for. And so age and other dimensions are all fed in. And so you can be disqualified on age because you must put your Ghana card number, and your Ghana card has your age. And so if you're above the age they're looking for, it disqualifies you. If you didn't meet certain criteria, it disqualifies you. So the intent was actually in good faith, but the response was overwhelming. 280,000 young people applied. And the problem was that they were looking for only 5,000. And unfortunately, everybody who applied paid a certain amount of money, above 200 cedis. And so young students who have finished school looking for a job, they have to go and borrow 200 cedis or take it from their parents to pay to get a chance to be recruited, and a computer just says disqualified. Meanwhile, his 200 cedis is gone. And so we held an emergency meeting, and we decided that we should expand the recruitment. And so instead of the 5,000, we would take 10,000 a year for 4 years, and so 40,000. And what we said is all those who applied, you don't need to reapply. We're going to use the same database to employ, from that database so that you don't have to pay again to go online.
Edru Kuyajuma Komodi Muno. Mampeni Muhammad Nanu Ye Bafa. Mahama wodi ka viral video. Ya koko kuyani bi kasa wumuno. Ose. Se aban dane nensa. Ankane no ena. Se koko kuyafo anase. Gane kuyafo edo mfudie wia. Wamode muno no kwa manone ekoton. Nebasa. Omani nye sika bia emfirimu enti de won mo yesesei ene se obepeja mfiri dwuma mu na won mo atimi adada ne manani wo Ghana ha ya ebuo ba mu wia wode akwa amanone akoton eba ne se yakuani benya ne sika esefata no enwuma kwan ebebie amomanfo enya bi ne oman no nso enya sika e de free export no emu.
We're looking to do the same with all our agricultural exports, especially cocoa. The recent incident with cocoa, with the prices plummeting, and you see all the videos of Mahama Wodiyaka of cocoa farmers protesting in the cocoa farms. And it is because for almost 70 years after we gained independence, we're still exporting raw beans to the world. I believe that what has happened in the international market should be a wake-up call for us, and that we must allocate more of our beans, and we're taking the first step to doing that because we're changing the financing model. Before, we got the traders and others who buy the cocoa to advance the money for us to buy the cocoa from our farmers. Now we say we're going to raise the money ourselves and buy our own cocoa. And when we're taking the money from the traders to buy the cocoa from our farmers, the collateral for the money they were advancing us were the cocoa beans. And so once you bought the cocoa beans, it was the collateral for the financing they gave you. So now, if we raise our money, we buy our own cocoa. Our cocoa is not collateral to anybody. And so we can decide what to do with it. And we're saying that we're going to allocate the bulk of our cocoa to the local processors to process that cocoa before we export it.
Efa omai Ghana emra ya emma kwan emma na dehia won masan akwaya dehia e wa man foforo so entimi nwura manyosemu age se won mapa wa dehia wa man foforo so echi ansa no ho no ampani Mahama kire se waye krado sa manyoku awodo nyina ka bomu na wo mo de krata so nhihye bi ba etia sa emra no a wono so betai ekire ebiem obehwe se won mo de ofre diaspora bonds ebeba daache e de aboa oman ni mpuntuo ene nnwuma bia esi wani so ento de to Ghana deshia ewo amanone anim se won so mfasika emewura oman yi mu sade beya sikasem ne ntotoye ebetimi afa ne ntuma pa efra.
About the diaspora being able to contribute to the projects that we're undertaking. We're bringing the legislation to Parliament for the diaspora bond. And so you'll be able to not donate but invest in a diaspora bond, and that bond will be invested in improving the infrastructure in Ghana, and you earn an interest on your investment. So we're not going to call on you to donate, we're going to call on you to invest in the diaspora bond, and I can assure you that it will be profitable. Through your remittances, investments, professional networks, and expertise, you continue to support families across our country. You continue to strengthen communities and contribute meaningfully to our economy. Indeed, remittances remain one of Ghana's most stable sources of foreign exchange. But beyond that, you bring something even more valuable: knowledge, exposure, innovation, and a global perspective. Indeed, let me explain. Remittances amounted last year was a record to $7.8 billion inflows into Ghana. It was second only to gold in terms of Ghana's foreign exchange earnings. Gold brought some $11 billion. Remittances from the diaspora brought $7.8 billion into Ghana. And that is why we're sponsoring and support a bipartisan bill in our parliament that members of the Ghanaian diaspora can participate fully in the political administration of our country. And so that clause in our constitution that excludes you, we have a bill in parliament that is bipartisan. It means both sides support it, that we will amend that bill. You don't need to renounce your citizenship or your resident status before you stand for parliament or be appointed as a minister in Ghana.
Nansen Sembi Ebeto Justin Lincoln University Edian Munyamshe Ebema Mampeni John Dramani Mahama Nenso Esign LGBTQ Hun Sensemti one more tresan Yehono Oya no and was say Lincoln Shiapono Eye Babia Edana Kuma so ye papa na say no can efa.
Lincoln University invited us, and I want to say that there's a historic link between Ghana and Pennsylvania. There's a historic link between Ghana and Lincoln University. Whatever disagreements have come up, for me, Lincoln University holds a special place in my heart. Because those are hallowed grounds for Ghana. It is part of our history. We cannot divorce Lincoln University from the history of Ghana. That is where our first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was nurtured with his intellectual capacity and his Pan-Africanist spirit. And it was from there he took that spark and led the liberation struggle, not only in Ghana, but across the African continent. And so the grounds of Lincoln are hallowed grounds for Ghanaians, and will continue to hold that institution in high esteem.
Omampeni wie ni nkomodie kra no en wonnam ensrewato kwan so etu Ghana de hye wa ma no ne info se won motu kwan a won ma wonsu ene oban won kasa ye no ade ye nyina na di se no kwasem won fri Ghana ena aba na sa won bekwa akofa broni kasa no obecheche ho te se de won no na atena ho mfie bebre no de emwa enti won twe won ho emfri ho.
My little sister asked me, how do we maintain our heritage even when we're in the diaspora? I don't think you need lessons from me. What I saw here today, you should be teaching me how to maintain our heritage back at home. I mean, what I saw here today, it was a wonderful spectacle. And I just want to commend you. In many cases, when modernization takes place, we demonize our culture and our values. And we want to behave more like the foreign influence that we are being exposed to. But I believe that we are defined by our culture. We are who we are because of our cultural identity. And so wherever you go, be proud to be an African. Be proud to be a Ghanaian. You know, one of the things everybody says about Kofi Annan He was one of the longest Ghanaians who stayed in the diaspora. It didn't change his accent. Today, somebody comes to America for 4 weeks. Can you take me to Kokomlemle? Can you take me to Kokomlemle? Where is Kokomlemle? We have Kokomlemle and Adabraka, not Ada.
Ebusuafo wei eye enkomodie ya ekoso ewo Ghana mampani John Dramani Mahama eni omenya de hye bi no motete Philadelphia entemo na sade na nkomo no etie na sese yekeka niema esisi ani na yedomu asukọ ema ahwefo nyina ehunu ne ekoso ewo na interaction a omampani ene ne manfo enya ewo nkrofo amanso no nti Obrempong ebesomu ha ne ato akase no so
Katrina enrada ena oman yi yemra se bejafie wonum agi emra bi editumu legal education bill na woditumu no ne nyina ase kire ne se de na akane eye Ghana School of Law ya ewon kan pomponi mantam nko a ena oman yi ansa na obetumi abeye oloya ni wo oman mu no age se wokoho akoje entitiye eno nam so bi ama enrada emra mrase bejafie wonum agitumu no se university ahodo a wonum ekire emra ewo wonum university wono nyina wo behwe se ane wono ankasa identity ye no ade ebema university fo no wono a wosua emra na wobeye mrase bedwafo na wono ankasa abeye aloyafo ewo my Ghana mu no wonum ebetete wo mu ewo universities ni mu na eno enam so bi ama eneyi aban lawyer panyini ane Professor Paul Bafuboni wono ene aban lawyer panyini wo my Ghana na wodi nanu atunsem na mu bi no wo kire se samra ya abai eno nkire se sabi ye betoto ntetiye ya ye de ma aloyafo no ye betoto nase ama eno nti emu aye ha ne obi aso de ya na wakosua mra wo se wafra ne ho lawyer no enya sada na emom wo behwe na wasemu kena na waboa ama sadie na akane no enipa wonum efa wo mu esa no ene wonum betretrem na watimi afa nipa no dodo na wonum atimi ade mra ahye wonum emu na ene na wodi nkomo ebra woya mamre kusuma mamre na waje enipa oha ne adionum num 155 waje wonum atum se aloyafo na wama womo tumi krata se wobetimi adijuma wo my Ghana mu se aloyafo mekire they have been called to bar anunti wonum ene asia eno de sa ensem yi atudwa no wakire mu se yentoto nase sai ena aban lawyer panyini Paul Bafuboni ede ensem ni bi atudwa.
You are also entering the profession at a moment of significant transition in legal education. For some time now, Ghana has struggled with the difficult balance how to expand access to legal education while maintaining professional standards. The result has often been tension between numbers and quality, between opportunity and credibility. We are now resolving that tension. Only yesterday, the Legal Education Reform Bill 2026 was passed by Parliament and will, in due course, become law after it received the blessings of the President. It introduces a new framework that seeks to expand access without compromising standards. Under the new system, accredited universities will be permitted to provide both academic and professional legal training. A national bar examination will serve as the uniform standard of professional qualification. Institutional bottlenecks will be reduced and the long-standing backlog of students awaiting professional training will be addressed. And the integrity of the qualification process will be strengthened through transparent, standardized assessment. The principle is simple. Opportunity must be widened, but standards must be held.
Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni koso de nsem ne bi ene afutuo eye edema woni a wopa won ho ntoma na wagya won kwan ama wakodi won dwuma se aban aloyafo na yaji wonu matum ebo man Ghana mu no wode afutuo ekom di ma omo no kire se mokọ no monkodi mu dwuma pepepe se de entete ya yede ama mo no mudi bedi dwuma na momma bibia ensesa nokure na mobema nokura nko a ene mmra ya yede asem nsa no mudi bedi dwuma aboa ama oman Ghana atimi afa ne ntoma pa ede efra.
In this profession, how you begin matters a great deal. The habits you form now, the lines you draw for yourself, and the standards you choose to live by will quietly shape the kind of lawyer you become. So let me leave you with a few simple but important cautions. First, guard your integrity jealously. Guard your integrity jealously. You will soon discover that the greatest threat to your professional life rarely comes in the form of some dramatic ethical crisis. It usually arrives in small, seemingly harmless compromises. A date quietly adjusted here, a fact presented a little differently there, or a convenient omission that feels harmless at the time.
Ora Johnson esiedun ketia eye titinani dema National Democratic Congress NDC amanyoku a edi ade na wode ato party mane echitafo nyina anim se enche na NDC amanyoku no kwa abato so akoyi national executives wonomo enyere wo ho pa na wonto aba emampanimfo a wonomo de wo kra ato ho abo afode ama NDC amanyoku wonomo ye adwumaden aboa akoniasa nyina mu a NDC eda so gina brane titiri wonia wonomo ebo won homoden afi 2024 ye adwuma ede party ne ba power ne mom womomo bia emfasika emedada wonom na eba ne sa na wone executives a wonomo ye adwumaden no eni ne yie wasan ada wonomo nyina se watai party no echi na wonomo bompaye ama wonom ye adwumaden 2024 so a womode party no eba power na wode sansem nyina todwa ebra wode ne thank you to akopie ewo nsuta kwa mai beposo a wode aseda ewo abato echi ekoma constituency emano
MPP for no kura nya t-shirt ya wo mo bese enu ti mo fa kokoduro nko krom na ya nyire ya ho na ya nyi seat ya esese dia esese eje enu nti wo mo ya adwuma no wo mo ntra wo mo nkonwa so na ebinum edisika beba se we oniska metu no me ebrebrenya branch chairman party e power de me na me branch chairman me wotumi metumi de akoye bibi ya basere mo obi a wabri ni moja ni ya adwuma no na yatimi amba power uko disika echi se wo gisika no apam no afiri ho a campaign beduru biem ukona ko freni pado se yenkoye campaign obeka se fa usika no esuma sika no na enko house to house na enko village to village enwura from place honkoye campaign ndi abasre mo de waye aduma no mo mana baso no onto aso the 2028 drew na se campaign no dura ankoye den amaye na mo hwemu na wo anya aduma no na wo no ne nan ba ko ha ne nan ba ko ha no de yeyi wo mo free mu a ne epe wo mo a wo be ya aduma na ene beboa ama NDC afa ne ntuma fa de efe enti maka na sawie no medema no besi ha ejina party ni nyina na mu biem eda na nanom nyina se eda ya sofo nyina se ye imamfo Sarkin Zongofo, branch for assembly members ya. Obi bia ni bibia oye ya. Ema ekunimdie no ba e da wase. Womo tutu womo botomu nso edeboa party adwuma no ma adwuma no course no obi ho ode ni sika aboa party no besi ne onyanya hwe nyame ma na botre na yenyina yenya otwan honhom na de eti
ewo aseda akwansra ya ekoso ewo ensuta kwaman beposo yewura asiedu enketia Johnson okosoa ede ensem no bi tuja na wokire mu sehwe sese woba asantimantemu a akane na ani pp4 wonum bo won hom ensamrane se asantimantam eye wonum dia ene wonum strong hope abato no dia yenyina yeto ede ma wo mu nanso ne yente sao enam se npp eba amammo ni mu no na woba aban mu no wanya de papa biada amfa amoa asanteman eno nti enam so ama sesei ndc so won ho ya kono won ho ya dedededede ewo asantemantam mu na enei asantemantam fo nyina epese wo nyina ebedane ndc fo eno nti enei enye npp fo kra ede abiemu da
asantemantam ha me fa no say eye no go area for ndc enti mon cheche ba bi amose eho eden no ni enko ho nipa ne wo ho ye ne wo monko kasa na wanya akwanya nka wasemu amma nipa no antia wo be da sakra na dwe amana be kan enti enko obi anche ya wi obi amoye obi anya hwe mom yenko ene etisi mu a mene nana kwasi nom ne isham nom kakran itini chini santima mu ababia achire de edru babi no na mahu se ade no Dr. Baumia kura beso Hassan mahu se ekoye enunti kakran na no yetimi di campaign eko biye na abatwa insunsan so bai ene hu se adwuma ebeye no ha no ananom maboaye asantimai asore aboa ndc papa he said for the first time we share Asante region abaye to na ndc ye brebrenya bese 28 ho percent ekwa ohanchi mu adio no motwe ho ekwa yetimi di nkonim ndi ende yesi hiebe inya 30% kura eye ensunsanso no bae no na presidential election ye twemu 30% ye ko 35% afi MP4 nkonya yenya mana boroso a ene nai to da bia miensa nine ye results wa ye kikan si ani no dan kan no kure na ye kan french mo a nka ndc nya seat be dumienu ansan se ye ntia ba nunti ye na so we ha esi mon kopro mo na mo se certificates mon kopro ni na mo se certificate enunum nyina chi no enya ngotwe eche se ebin sida enunti nananom edwin hudin a eche se ehaye o he vote maako no a eno ne ka si ani a yetimi di power president no a eche se obi ani ho obetimi aka se oyi Asante free ndc mu a party no betimi agina awu ni election da he said say no oyi mantam be se first 3 na Asante region kan enti MPP for them say a high or stronghold yes so a high stronghold
yes so aha eye strongholds ano eye general mosquito na wakosoa ede nsem ne bi kan ho no kire se sei wonum bebre won ho asepa na wodi waso atoto fom Asante mantam mu ene yenya omunya te esu a se o yehia we o omobeba abeye eniema hodo a ehia Asante mantam mu nipa hodo nyina nda wonum be hye se wobeye ede abo wonum se de beye a abato ye a edi yanimu no wonum ebetimi akosoa na wonya vote ahodo a ene wonum nya ye no na wonya bi kura asan ede a chen saa eno nti wobekoso na waye empuntunyuma ne nioma ahodo a beboa santimantam na mantam no atimi afa ne ntuma pa ede efra
enti anya hunu anamo ayetu a ehu amba mfaso no eti se oba a waware no foforo asese ye nma ye na ye ntiantia wo ha na de ni mu aka ye ba na ye beda mo siwi a ya san kai ye hu se edebe ni debe na ye ni mu aka apambe ni ye ni mu ko ye na mo kai ya fre ya krachi fo no so mo me kire ye ma ye ni nananom kai no ya ye aduru sen afi ba ko mu ye wa he na aka a ese ebo mode eye said ye be ya campaign bedru bie mu a ye be ba no na ye sere hwe na nanom anim ye me ye nipa o ka asem now the adenoma no o twa so awie o se denche ma no po ye ndisi ye nye bisa enuntina ye di akire ye ne nananom abedi nkita ho ye ba e o man no ba bi ase ya duro no enya de a ye betimi de afi ba ko na akora no ba de ye de amaye nkranhye kese ne se said the president Mahama Shasie no obi e bona baso ye niema a Shasie Ghana niema Shasie esisi na kwaje disi e kasa wo hai enema bebrebe a obobo so ye we si school dan wo ha ye si boho wo ha ye we nta na nti akwa we pa utiri ye se o ya kufu ado disi a ene afre wa begira badwom se ka de otimi
ewo ovra asiedu enketia ensemi so na yebehome na yetwa ye ho aba ye ba ye de aka no ebeto awoso
ahwefo nyina kwa babiem de bafacha TV so anwumrei yakase ayato din se prime time boja ye ene eguso na ye kenkan de sumu ye nto ansem no som municipal assembly ya ewo ewutu senya east eye kasoa won mo efa adwene se wo bebubu won mu dwadada ya ewo ho na wasiesie na aboa ama 24-hour economy market no emu apagya eba ne se adwadifo no ankasa ene beboa won mu dada adwumadie nanso na mono ampanimfo ye se won mutuo no akofa wo hawo ede abre adwadifo no ama won mu ne mpanimfo ekia yam so papa make say municipal chief executive yo wo ewutu senya east ora seth saba se wonu banini wakasa no wo kire se enikwa se adwadifo no ede nsam a ekoso no eya amanyosem won mu makwan mpanimfo mebubu dwadada no na won mu nsiesie na basa ebe ma adwosuo no adoso na wo mu nyina nya baabi atena ede edi won mu adwuma na wɔn mo mpanimfo kwan na wɔnya ne saa na ɛba saa wɔn so atumi anya mfaso bi afiri so
Asen ye ka se ye tu obi ama ya pamo mama mo ne aduane abebo mo. We mo no ye wo satellite market a 3 minutes away from here. Just over to me kwa na ntiako. Abanda da ni si a me no ka se ye ko ho no. Wo se nipa 8 ye na no mo wase. Na ohwe the way are scarce resources wo ho. Ye see new market satellite market wo say ye ko bi down. Na so ye crofo no enko. This is a well-thought plan. Yediaba say betie dia crofo kana. Because of first press conference, so they are trying to draw politics into it, mentioning political figures. Will say, this thing we are doing is for the development of Kaswa and not any other political interests. And so they should avoid this political act nuclear, and we want to assure them so the project will happen ahead of the notice time. I don't know, say 27 last day I person Mary now evacuation here according on it says what timapama monuntino yasa swaba rounds engage because Sedani Bra will come in with full
na opani pay ekasawie ya pe ena kaso adwadifo nkabomuko opani ya woda won mo anom Felix Kwame Anoma edi tu dwase empanimfo no omakasa yie papa enya baako nyamienu nyamiensa wo mo no omatwetwe nkomo akosi ase ama wakoma ato won yam to omokra wo maboa won ho no se enche wo mo be sa relocation no ayi wo mo ne ma afidwada danum akọ baabi ampanimfo de ema wonom enti sesie sedwade ni bia eye na adwene se wo te ne ho egu abontene so no aye kira enye wo mu nipadodo no na aka abomu eye sa enu nti adwadefo no enya hweyi
I said to me, from last year, we come in about 6 months. I did the BO Habia aware, say, project to the so. And I'm going to also power my market, say, I had a young Trasi. Yapa point to be a but once in packet to be, who may be a woman of some of the woman in Penotana. To make a demonstration of my impact maybe because the BO Habia Yahweh say, sad to maybe a day. But another day, I didn't say, be but market some of them are takes way best. But you big your cap because market in the shopping market be on. Tika come the bigger. Somebody a point and I get a pefuku. Then we saw no hobby boy because one will be about to myself and I been to me some good year. Why market takasa? Has a car, I brought me up at the company a template structure. And a baby or Habian, we are where Sahano, they are from 2019 from Sahano, the day will do. And yes, who will be a mobile. Most of the demonstration as a Castle Trade Union chairman. Will be a demonstration as a Guapayo, no, yes, sir.
Mikobi na mankebi di empanisi ni wa nkobi kra enka eye enti opani pa ya wukọ kaswa wono ene municipal physical planning officer Ora Steven Kakraba wono so dan wadi se nya ne ena aban eba ye wono aye o madwene se wo mopum adwadifo no aye nsiesie wose achapa na mpanimfo drop plan to ho abandada no abreso nyina na eguso a won hyehyemu na se adwadifo no makwan na won mu siesie dwa no a woni ankasa na beboa won ene kasoa ekuro no nyina daachi
say omufa political adunu inano enfantontai na yem facing developmental issues because the district no na planning authority so district no ntumpon wa assembly no na mu ina bebo sombo say na moti ha na ha ye bas asem mo beka ya mo be we say some of the sheds no mo ye wo ha no obi tumi de patano bi e de big traffic light ho na mo bo traffic light mo bo kaswa din boni e wo say sa de no ina no ye 17 na ye plan say ye mpese ebenya edinboni wo antino ye ba be si shop which shop we are obi anante kwa ho a one ka be pre yi ka na ni pa be pre kwan ho intino ya ye plan no fefese mahu plan no dey the way ya develop ha no ye we are ha ni abroach the difference bi ambem intino an eguso a ye no
abusia yeguso a ejina kasoa edwadie ensensem no emu na sedie empanifo adikan atoatoa na wakire ensem mu no yekọ ene edwadifo no bi nso ekodi nkomo ene yebusa omo se sedie empanifo MC yinom wonom nyina ekire nie wonemo adi nkomo se ene yi wonuma mamo up to ene se yegina ye na so yi se monfa emfiri ha na no na Petty Traders Association ya wonum ewo kaswa edwane mu no wose won kɔ baabia na enkɔ kina adenti na empanifo epam wonum na edampo a wahye ediama omo se wonfa mfiri dwane mu no se bi eye na kakra bi wo manfa ma wonumu entem aye jaso enti woni baabia da wokro aban enhwe na wonka bi enfama wonum ebra dwadifo ene Forte TV yesentroni critical combat wone no etwetwe nkomo no nsem sei bi ene wode etuja
Iti ya sramo madawroma ya kwa yo city yo city wala wodi yan kwanala no nipa tani mpo ampo agwaso ye fichiri agwanya pa ho agwanya market ti ya sramo mungu yang mabo ya sramo mungu yang mabo
ene wote yanka kaswa ma ye ni abre efisa na ma na e wa no ene ye ni adale mama o ya kunim ni adwuma ye ya manya ba bi mfa ya kola school fees ayechia enya sam ketwa efise onabo na kwalo ba amaye kobusa ne se ya tise wo se wo de ha na ye stores edi ahimle ye mfa wo se do obi abeka bi anya no kore onfa obi anya store ani esu etie ye se ya mpa o ma se 27 esitra na ma te se ya egu asa yi abia na ye ma no mo mrewa ani mrewa ewo mu ha te no wo se wo di apostifo ni atojafo betu yan edima mo ntwan ema obi na nipa na gira otu aba edima mo baaye aba ni nipa na to ma mo edisi otu aba na mo wie na ba bia didie no mo be kire nyansa bia ani wo tere betra awo ma be ku yan sa mu na asra mo fa ma de sa
30 years abamu go by nim da ye oba so bebu go omra omama atase se ansana batabe bia no tese ebe ye be bai kwan mu ansa na se be ba kwan mu ansa sana batabe batabe boy be 5 years ni enru bebia oba ba se ombebu omra ejise bia mbasa esa se ha enya dia oye bibia yo be yi when so na call your I'm seeing now. All friends are obebu apata no be store man. Let's go. About 1,000 or so be store about 80 pe. Oma kan e be ko oba enumera esen 24-hour economy no. Adetia abaye for the cycle nipa wa dos papa also otunya na aka nipa 80 when na yes say pelefom wa na o maka bi mai so anaka say onion sia en ka bi ntire ye say na so dabi o mai not bi say you wan say the abiabo say 27 but on said am fry and trans say we be two more na
Ghana Export Import Bank Wonomo ahyehyɛ dwumadie bi a ɛyɛ Gexim attend international conference ɛwɔ Nkran na ɛhɔ eniema mpani abedi akyire Professor Jane na opoko adwuman ɛkɔyɛ na wɔkɔkasa ya wɔda no adi sɛ aban ɛbɔ ne homɔden pa sɛ ɔbɛma ɔman Ghana sikasɛm ne ntotoyɛ anyini na ebetimi ayɛ saa eni kwan so ɔman kɔso ade ne ho ɛto nneɛma wɔkɔkra free kwasikɔkɔ ɔman so ɛba Nemom woni ankasa behye won ho den no apemfiri dwuma na won mo adada enema ahodo a won mo ya ne Ghana ha ni na mu ayeduro no de kwa amanone a watimi akosi akan anya sika emudom e de aba oman mu afei wosan kire kwan a afi 2016 efa so na mampani John Dramani Mahama nsa na obefiri aban mu no woboa ema sasika krabia yi eba ye ene anisuade huna na eda empanimfo anim na wo kire mu a Ebrahim esese omai Ghana sikasam ene ne ntotoye bia woni a ehwe so no won mo hwedane won ho efri adwadie ene niema a etese mu no opɛ kwan hodo bi fa so a wode ebebo sika kwan ama omai ne sikasam fri se empepi se ntokwa chenchirente ta ama ne homne so ewo ewiase amansan mu a ya eha omai Ghana sikasam titiriw bia fa adwadie mu eba no
of Gexim must have an even greater impact than the first. It must respond to our new realities and our determination to move higher up the value chain. In that light, several priorities should guide Gexim's near phase. First, the bank must deepen its support for value addition and industrial production. Second, GEXIM must continue to pay serious attention to SMEs. Many of Ghana's future export champions are not yet large corporations. They are growing businesses with promise, and they need funding, technical support, market access, and patient partnership. Third, the bank must strengthen its capacity to export trade and credit, guarantees, and risk management. Fourth, GEXIM should expand partnership with regional and international financial institutions, export credit agencies, development partners, and private investors. 5, the bank must embrace innovation and modernization. And thank you very much for referring to that. 6, Ghana must ensure that GEXIM operates within a broader policy coherence and economic discipline framework. Export growth requires sound macroeconomic management, reliable infrastructure, and efficient logistics, and a predictable policy environment. The challenges before us are too complex for any single actor to confront alone. And so, as a government, we must provide direction and sustain an enabling environment. Financial institutions must provide capital and manage risk. The private sector must invest, innovate, and expand. And our international partners must keep working with us to build local capacity and promote
Abusia yemfa yeni enchiremu ewo asante mantemu na yekopiemu ewo achima kwangoma mansino emu apaso ejadifo ena wonum eni agye wose ye ene wobose pa ni nyina ene se enei empanifo abamu mpanifo ya wonum ewo mantam no emu wakabom ene individual private individual bi akabom na wonum esi ejajata ena wasi ede ama wonum se wonkotenam na wontimi eni wonum eja eno nti ukopiem ewo apaso a ene enei community market pa ena empanifo apa ho entoma ewo ho na abankrachi panyin honorable Grace Ajiman Asamoah ena enei woni ensentrofo edi nkomo ede afa eja no ho no wakire mu se ebeye pa se aban ene ankrankra betimi aka wo ho abomu na waka sika botene ede abomu na waboa se de ebeye mpuntu nyuma hodo pinu abetumi akoso na wei eyade a wonum aye ewa paaso a ebeboa pa ma wonum gyadie ni won sika sam atimi akoyie na gina brane na boa majadifo nso eho ahenhan wonum ebra honorable Grace Ajiman edi nkomo no ensem sei bi ene wokaye
me de asedapi esie Emma Yera Patrick Usu wa adefefa onam so ayede ama apasomai se yenyane so enipa mese me ensakura wo amensi mu a migidi ye se amensi betu pon kese afa ne ntoma pa efra sa akwanya nso ade adesrede ma amensi mu se won a omo wo pepa no omo wo sa akwanya betimi ayede yenua be me yayi mesra wo se omo nso so emoa so omo wo sa ni so ade hunu na ma omo nka nhye ma omo nka se aban ensa entumi enso ye nyina yeso oye na afam de obetimi de nanso mini market sei no se yenkro shops wa ha mesra wo mo wo sa wo mutumi maintain ha ma aha ehote neatness account bebre obo ha wo wura yi mu kra na ohwese de mu aya say de o ma ye dwa yi de mi nwura ha emeto ha de na emom so obi wura ha no hu so say de dwa yi mu sitie de okọ akoto ha de ntimi de adesrade to wo manim niti
said honorable Grace Ajiman edi nkomo na wobo Mr. Patrick Owusu wono ena ye CEO edema apaso community market no na ene wono so ene nsenthrefo edi nkomo no wotire mu se ade we de waye pa wonum aka won ho bom aye se de be ya ebeboa pa ma emabunu ya wonum ewo apaso enso atimi anya adwuma pa bi na wonum atimi de wonsa aye ekame ya ye se emabunu wonum wo ho eni adwumaye na nti wo sere se wo bibia damfo ne ho ense edwadie mu na emmoa ma wonum so ensantimi kowano wosan so esre se woni a ewo honum no odi gya wo ho nyina enhwe se wo behwe ne yie na wo bo ho ban na aye wonum ankasa edia daachi
Utaye titiri wono ene se emrantie ene emabaawa ene ebusuakuo ni nyina obi abenya adwumaye de me hu ne se wo create market at se we say stores and shops nkwa ya hodo ma kwadu so 70 ntine emfa nse se dodo na mpo we fa nipa ba ko we fa nipa mienu a ebe wie ne se nipa be wo hade awrade adom mo nya baabi aye adwuma o monsa be koma Utaye ne titiri wono no de mesra wo mo ne se enipa na ye fi nipa so na etimi siesie nti se ye nyina no ye agi atum no ma hu se de o mbefa edwan na sitie na se wo se o maintain ni sa wontumi fa bi nka wa maintain ni sa enye obi na betuufo because efi ku nipa nti de mesra mo nyina se de o mbeto ade ne neatness no mo fa bi kura nka ho efi ni ade nyina o mo nyin from akọ no obi wura dwom a
Assembly member Edema Asago Apaso electoral area. Wapanimpa ya nidin ene Honorable Nelson Boachi Yadom. Wano so edi asidansem ekoye. Edema mpanimfo a wonuma ka won ho abomu na wabua ama ejai etimi aba abesiwo. Wasan so esre mpanimfo ene aban se wonuma kwan eye ade a apro na atete apansam. Eno nti wasra ban ne mpanimfo se wonhwe na wontwa nani emfa mehwe Apaso electoral area no na wonmo wonum wompuntunyum ahodo a watite wo my Ghana no emu
medi se abeboa ye bebre uhwe ye mpesua enan ya emu bia ni ho market eti dwumadi we ba ye no ama mani agi bebre ebise ade bi wa nka be nante akokoro se kwakoto ba ise wo ba hanum a ubenya sa ade ni bi ato ye wo phone shops wa ha ye wo pharmacy wa ha se shops enema bebre wo hanum a ankan ne befo cars ye kokoro akoto bi nanso nam se we market yi ba hanti ama ise wo pe bibia ato a wo ha ho engodi di traffic so nkokoro ne mu ba Apaso community market ya ubenya bi ato nti me semi mindful no se omo so emra omo medi dwa wa ha ne edwa ne mpagya ana omo ton ade wa ha so omo hwe se omo be maintain market no se de standard aye pe market no ye nya no omo be maintain ama bibia be dana kwan mu so omo so market no mu ya ana obi firi abonten ba beto ade na ni baje no watwe ngba fro de aba na mum so bi beto ade na oba na ha nye aha basa na bia omonum kasa kora beko adwadifo no ho nya menyi ni yese amanfo bebra so mo ba bedi dwa ha ti di ade sede na medi to omonim se omom ye mo market no ho ban ni ye mpa
Area no maya de hye na nwumre so yesre samfa mo bre emfam yen na don hye ba ko yemfa yen kase a yato din sa prime time mesomwa na hane de bibia eba awiye Millennium Construction adaroma na nwumre bia yesom moyini wose emfa nto onim semrante ne mabawa mosisuo daachen ubenya japade bia to ho e dia mafia na ya asase enti frisa bre ya aboabo sika no na fa ho kodom won baby a wo pass asase no to sa de ne tetere na Millennium Construction fo mpa bi ntomo ade manso ni ho ya obia mehaw osisa obeye o project awie ebia wa so to asase ni bibia bebomu pesa oton na odi sika no ya de foforo Millennium Construction se fabra da ofie jojo hu no mo ampa tofo ya wa fro no abeje sika wo mpa we dia na wo pem wo de dream bi asi wani so se manhye bi a wo hunu ne baabi no a na da achen wo betinem wo ne obusua na wo hwehwe contractor wo betimi asisa dream no ama na ye reality a eye Millennium Construction wo mo ne contractors a wa bene akwadare adansie hu adwuma mu wo mo wo suahunu bronisi experience enfie maako dunum ti kyeresa adwuma no won ma ya acha papa wo de wo hu ebo won ma anya de a obedi wo hwamo eno nti wo dream house no ebetimi aye reality a Millennium Construction. Wasan real estate development wosisi adan wodimo na wonma tonton enti wo gated community atnemu anase obi esi 2-bedroom house 3-bedroom ene de aka nyina na waton pese ho bebra wo ho kra construction ho a Millennium na mekamfo a kire wadansi ho niema pillar molds ene blocks nyina wonmo tonton bi ni afoforo aka Kumase Boshen na Yas Junction no mochi akwan wo wobetimi afa numbers no ego screen ne so na make say ya woni mpanimfo atwetwe nkomo e de afa wo hawdo say construction dia enkwati Millennium na wo ma yese aboa soroboa wo de wo ho bo won ma wo kotokro enkaso won mo nti e na da bia nwumre ye de kase e besommo mo akenkanfo eyeme AFIA tumwa Kaakyire menen
Obrempong apesi Jaboa.
Yadi mu si ha ne akramoni eguso akai mosa na wotwe awie ye programs ni nyina beba so wochina anopa no nsia abudi abi any crew ni tenase a Fache Sports weekend edition wo mo de bebro na nwumre no so Fache showbiz ebeba wakwa mu na de chikwasi ada anopa no so a DJ Tofia Ka Collins amopoku ni abedwafo wo mo so the Sunday morning special SMS abesomo ahead na wotwe awie ye nyina ntenye afidie no emfiri ha news team ye be hia biemu a na eye adwada anopa nunsia yada mo ase na wotwe ene mo bre yakra mo nyina